It's time for another bread extra. I'm doing bread pudding today. A lovely dessert. I really like it. And it's super, super easy. A nice little treat that comes from making your own bread at home. So first step, get them cut up into cubes just like I did for the bread pudding. So I'm going to get that done and then we'll move on. This is going to be the base, the custard base of your bread pudding. So I have 1/3 cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of butter, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 2 eggs, and 2 cups of milk. And then from there, you can add whatever you want to it. So what I'm going to start with is warming up the milk and the butter on the stove until the butter is melted. Butter's melted. I'm going to add a teaspoon of vanilla and the 1/3 cup of sugar and stir it. I'll turn the heat off and just stir this till the sugar is all dissolved, which won't take long. It's nice and warm. So you want to let this cool for a few and then mix in the egg. Otherwise it'll cook the egg and you don't want the egg to cook before it's able to mix in with the bread. So get this mixed up, we'll let it cool, and then we'll add the egg. So the sugar, milk, and butter mixture has cooled off a little bit, but it's still hot. So what I'm going to do is slowly pour these eggs into it, but continuously stir while that happens. Maybe I can do it this way so you can see. But I'm just going to be very, very slow. Oh no, that's too fast. So much for that plan. Just slow, slow, slow. And just mix it all together. Slowly, there we go, almost. Now you could let it cool off a little more and this would be easier, but I just don't have that kind of patience. So I'm going to get that all mixed in. Whoops, making a mess. Okay, now that that's done, I'll bring in my breadcrumbs. And I'm just going to pour this whole thing all over the breadcrumbs. Okay, now I don't measure how many breadcrumbs I use. The recipe says to use a whole loaf of bread. So I just kind of guesstimate. And I'll get this mixed up and we'll add a few extra goodies. So I've mixed it all up. And you can see there's still some in the bottom. But everything is pretty well coated. And now, I know, doesn't that look yummy? Not really, but it'll get better, I promise. So now I'm going to add a few extra goodies. Walnuts and raspberries. We still have 3 gallons of raspberries left over from last summer. So figured this would be a good way. And this part, you can just add however much you like. This is all personal preference from here on out. I usually see people put raisins in their bread pudding, which raisins are good, but I don't have raisins. I have raspberries. So I'm going to put raspberries in it. Woo! So I'll get this bag open. So like I said, the amount of extra goodies you put in is all personal preference. And I just did about 3 handfuls of raspberries. Get this all mixed in. Now there's 2 ways of doing this. You can put this directly into your baking dish and cook it up this way. If you like more of a custard style dessert, well, let it sit for about an hour or so. You know what? I don't think that's enough raspberries. So we're going to add a few more raspberries and then let it sit for an hour. And the baking dish I'm going to use is my muffin tin. I just like having individual servings. Makes me feel a little better when I have a sweet tooth, like I'm not being a pig about it. So now it's more raspberries, and we'll let this sit. Well, maybe I don't need yeah, I need more raspberries. Never mind. So we'll let this sit for about an hour, and then we'll get it in the pan and ready for the oven. It's been soaking, and I think it's ready to go in the oven. So the oven is preheated at 350 degrees. And I have started scooping it into my muffin tin. It is greased, even if the package says non-stick. My experience has been that that is false, at least when it comes to baking. So I go ahead and grease it. And my favorite go-to greaser for baking, I'm sure I've said it before, is Crisco. Some of y'all might be, what? That's crazy. Yeah, well, it has worked the best time and time again. So I use what works. It's cheap. It lasts a long time. I'm not going to buy those spray can stuff and go through it like it's going out of style. So I do it this way. So I'll get these all ready and put together. Isn't that such a pretty purple with the raspberries? I'm so excited about that. Oh yeah. So I'll get all these filled. And in the oven, you're going to let it bake for anywhere between 30 and 45 minutes. So what you want is a little bit of bounce to it, but the outer edges to be crisp and brown, or I should say golden, because it's already kind of brown. Well, mine's purple, so we'll see how that turns out. But you don't want it jiggly, but you want it bouncy. And then, so that should, like I said, that should be ready anywhere between 30 and 45 minutes. And then when it's all finished, I will show you what it looks like. And here is the finished product. Look at that. What a pretty little muffin of bread pudding. It's still kind of warm, so I can't hold it very long, but oh, that looks so delicious. Oh, I wish you could smell it. And that is it. Top it with some caramel or honey if you want. And you're good to go.